Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 2 of scripting for games. Last week, you guys worked on creating your own code. You created one from scratch, and you had a little debug log that read "Hello World," and that should have played once, only once, whenever you started your scene. So now that you guys are familiar with at least creating very basic code, we'll jump in to the deep end, more or less. But you guys will have some swimmies at the very least, or maybe a float or something fun. So this is not complete trial by fire. But this week, we'll be taking a look at the junior programming pathway or junior programmer pathway in Unity Learn. So we'll be switching gears and not working exactly from scratch, but we'll be working through Unity's own provided tutorial system. And they have a really great pathway for programming in general. So we'll be looking at that for the rest of the course, and you guys will be getting through a majority of the junior programming pathway, and I'll show you guys a little bit more about what that includes and what that means. So I will share my screen here. So here we have the kind of intro open module or overview module for week 2. Again, like I said, you'll be starting to work on the junior programming pathway through Unity Learn. This pathway, if you guys have not worked with Unity Learn in the past, Unity has Unity Learn, which is a kind of separate site or resource that is tailored for tutorials and learning, as the name implies, for lots of different kind of content and subject areas within Unity. So this ranges from art, animation, planning, scripting, coding, general design, and general development. So we'll be making full use of this. And this week, you'll only be required to really complete 2 major sections, and I will show you guys what those are. But for the most part, you'll be following a guided project. You'll be downloading a small working project. You'll open it up and then you'll start editing. So you'll be provided with several art assets. And what you'll do is you'll follow section by section and you'll design a small micro game or a micro prototype where you're driving a car left and right. You can turn it, you can drive it forward and backwards and try and avoid obstacles in the road as you drive. So this first project will really be introducing you guys to player controls and navigating a player around a game space. So again, this is going to be relatively introductory kind of content and the fundamentals of coding, but the way that Unity Learn and their junior programming pathway has these kind of exercises and projects set up is that you're learning the actual application of scripting content and concepts and ideas in a practical game space. So it's not just theoretical and kind of book learning and practice, it's putting it in practice, right? So to get you guys started, you will need to first download Unity if you haven't done that. But if you guys worked on your scripts last week, then you should be ready for that. The next thing you're going to want to do is open up the junior programmer pathway. So if you're on the main week 2 module page or the overview page, like I'm looking at here, you'll see a link for the junior programming pathway. And then there are a few other links down here as well. So I have provided a video for navigating the junior programming pathway. This is navigating Unity Learn. It can get a little confusing, especially since the pathway that we are working through is roughed out at about 12 weeks of kind of hours. But we won't be going through all of it. We'll be going through about half of it. And what you'll need to know most is we'll be working with Create with Code section 1 first, and then Create with section 2 or Create with Code 2 later on. But to get started, what you'll want to do, you can just click on this Junior Programmer Pathway link. It will open up a new tab and it will take you here. Now, I highly recommend you guys viewing the navigating the junior program pathway video before jumping into this. You can find that by clicking on this link here. It will take you right to the Canvas page. There's no video up now in this video right this second, but whenever you get there, there will be. I'm processing the video now, and it will be uploaded here shortly. So before you guys, jump into the programming pathway, I highly recommend checking out that video. It'll just kind of introduce you on how to get around in there. But once you click on that link, you'll see something like this. You'll want to go to mission 1. So if you look over to the right, there are 4 sections, right, to this create with code. And this is what we'll be working with. For the first week, we'll be working, well, the first 2 weeks, which actually are week 2 and 3, we'll be working through this create with code 1 section. This is roughly, they say 14.5 hours. This week, you'll be working about 7 hours. So from here, what I can do is open up mission 1, or this first section. I select mission details, and this will load this mission section of the programmer pathway. From here, for this week's assignment, what you're going to do is get through 2 sections of this first portion of pathway. So the first sections are, if you scroll down here, you'll see there are 4 different kind of units. There's 2 units that are not named units, right? So there's getting started at about 35 minutes. There is unit 1, player control, introduction to project management and teamwork, and then unit 2, basic gameplay. So for week 2, that's this week, I want you guys to be working on the getting started section and the unit 1 player control section. Now, this first section is only half an hour. It's a pretty small section. You should be able to get through all of that. But I'm going to open up unit 1 and show you guys this because it's a little bit beefier. And this is where the majority of the work that you'll be doing this week is going to be. So once you get into unit 1, player control, if I scroll down, I can see a little summary here. And if I scroll down to the left, I'll also see unit 1, player control, and it has several kind of smaller components in it, right? So we have tutorial. These first, it looks like 6 or so, or 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sections are all tutorials. The first 5 are going to be one's an introduction. The others are actual lessons for creating your game. So this is going to be your car game where you're moving your player. Tutorial section number 6 is going to be a challenge. So you're going to program a plane moving with the same kind of concepts and fundamentals and knowledge that you've developed your car with here. So for this first project, I want you to get through every single section of this tutorial and also the section before here. So all the way up to quiz 1. For your submittables for this project, you will, 1, submit your finalized project, which will be finalized through to the end of mission 1.4 or lesson 1.4. Then you're also going to submit video of your challenge project working. And then I want you to submit, so this is deliverable number 3. I want you to submit an image of your quiz score after you're finished with that. As you get through each one of these sections, so again, if I scroll down, I can see each one of these kind of basic sections, right? Now I noticed that, and you might notice as well, I have this little like green circles with check boxes. This one is blue. By default, yours will all be blue. This green checkbox means I have completed it. So if I go to Unit 1, Introduction, I can see what all is in here, and I see that there's only kind of one thing to do, and it's to watch this video. Now, by default, yours will probably look like this. So you have this blue little button that says Mark step as completed. So I can watch this video, and we can learn from our good friend Carl. He will be the one guiding us through this whole series. Once you watch through this video, it'll give you some information. You'll mark this step as complete. That will say this section is complete, and then you can say continue to next item. So if I click on that, it will take me to the next step of this pathway. And now I am in lesson 1.1, start your 3D engines, and I see that as highlighted here. So this section by itself is estimated at 1 hour and 20 minutes. It's best to, if you're blocking this out for your week, give yourself an extra hour to an hour and a half. That way you have time that you can set aside for any kind of weird bugs that you run into or issues, or if you just have questions or get stuck on something. So another thing too, you'll need to download the project folder right here. Anything that you'll be using, any projects that you'll be working on will always be found in this top overview section. And it's usually at the start when you start working on it. So here, if I download this will be my starter files. I will need to unzip this, like uncompress this folder, because it is a zip folder. And then I can open that project up as a Unity project. And this will all kind of cover the basics of getting started, making a new course folder for your project and so forth. So go through all of these step by step, and as you complete them, you'll mark your steps as complete. Now, to mark your steps complete and keep track of your progress, you'll need to create a Unity account. So whenever I clicked that link earlier, I was already logged in, so I have my Gmail account connected to this. You'll just want to make sure you have your appropriate account linked up. And then that is kind of what we'll be doing this week. So you'll make it through the first two sections again. So we'll be working in the Create with Code section 1 for this first week, and we'll be working on it for next week as well. You only need to complete project Getting Started and Unit 1 Player Control. You need to complete both of these complete modules or complete units, and then you'll submit the required submittables. And so if you go again go back to Canvas to the week 2 overview, you'll see at the very bottom that I have a to-do list for you guys. So you'll complete Getting Started and Unit 1 Player Control in the Junior Programmer Pathway. Submit a video of gameplay for your car game and challenge for assignment 2. So you have an assignment, and then you'll submit that as well for your discussion this week, because this week's discussion, you'll be reflecting on what you guys have worked on. Now, Unit 1, Player Control, you guys will all be doing about the same thing. You'll be following the same tutorial, but when you get to the challenge, you'll have options to kind of approach it in different ways. And there's different ways you can kind of find solution for the challenges. And that's going to be the same each week. So the discussion, I want you guys just to reflect on the general guide. So just the general Unit 1 Player Control, what you guys learned in there. How do you think it can be helpful? And then for the discussion as well, I want you to include the challenge, how you came to your solutions, and what you use to find the solutions, whether it's something in a discussion in the pathway that someone mentioned, or whether it's something that you just had a vision and said, all right, well, this is how I can fix this. And just to kind of go back on that too, going back to these kind of Unity Learn tutorials, whenever you get down here, at the top of each section, you'll see two little icons. One is a share link. The other is this kind of little discussion log with a number by it. If you click on this discussion log, you'll see that there are discussion posts and threads for each section of each unit of each tutorial. So if you're getting caught on one particular area, like I just can't make this course folder, or I'm having problems finding my new project, if you click in here and then go down to that particular section, so number 1, make a course folder, a new project, that's here, right? So I can go down here and see, what other people are talking about. So this is now this making a course folder and a new project is maybe not a real kind of like head scratcher, but some of these later concepts will be trickier, and coming through to some of these discussion posts will be helpful. You can also view more, and you'll see people have posted usually pretty recently, I find. Like some of these are a year old, but some of these are 2 months, 3 months, 4 months old. So these are relatively recent. And these can be really helpful. And don't be afraid to like ask questions or leave feedback too, because you might get an answer. So those are just more resources as you guys are working through here. But if you have trouble, if you have questions and there are no answers in the discussion, feel free to reach out to me as well. But that is what we'll be working on this week. Again, you'll need to do 2 submittables for the assignment itself for Canvas. One is to submit videos of your working game, of your kind of like Unit 1 car working, or you can submit a build if you feel more comfortable doing that. That might be easier. Submit 2, a video of your challenge working, your full challenge game. And then a screenshot of your quiz score from the unit. And that's what I'll be looking for this week. Don't forget your discussions. You make your initial post, try to do that by Wednesday at midnight, and then make sure you are responding to at least 2 others by Sunday at midnight. And don't forget our weekly office hours or drop-in hours. Those are going to be from 1 to 3 p.m. That's Central Time. And that's going to be on Wednesday and Friday. So I'll be available via office hours, or I'll be available via office hours, which can be found on the homepage right up top in this announcement. So student drop-in hours. So if you click right here, you can just click this link and it will open up Teams, and that's where I'll be available. If you're around campus, you can also hop in or just drop by my office. I will be there in McClure 24. That is on the ground level of McClure for those who know where that is or are wanting to come find me. That's all I have for you guys this week. I know this is kind of a long video. Part of it's just introducing you guys to the programming pathway and making sure you know how to navigate that. But other than that, let me know if you guys have questions. I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys do. And I'm looking forward to your challenge projects and see how you guys kind of come up with some of your solutions. So good luck. And let me know if you have questions.